Should Trump run for a third term? Now, my short answer is absolutely not. And not because I don't like him, not because he's not doing a good job, which he seems to be doing a good job thus far in regards to certain things that he is implementing. But it's too early to tell whether or not he's bad or good as a president. People are ranting and raving about how great he is, and people are ranting and raving about how bad he is. We don't know. We have to wait and see what the outcome of his presidency is going to bestow upon this country at the end of his 4-year term. Now, there is a petition online. I saw it on Instagram a couple of times. Apparently, guys, people are pushing for him to run for a third term. I thought he floated the idea himself a few weeks ago, and then lo and behold, there's a petition online asking people to sign it. Now, I would absolutely not sign it. I don't care who the president is. I don't care how good of a job he's doing. Messing around with term limits is bad. Now, the last person to run more than 2 terms was FDR, and he did 4 terms. In his 4th term, he passed away in April, I think, of that year he got elected. They had to go back, and the 22nd Amendment, they ratified it in 1951. It was passed in 1947, but they rectified it in 1951. Therefore, presidents could only do 2 terms. Now, why am I against it? Because you will undoubtedly have a bad president somewhere along the line looking at it and start messing with the term limits. Well, Trump did it. He got a 3rd term. Why can't I do it? And then he does it for a 3rd. And then, well, I feel like I can do a better time around in my 4th term. And then he does it again. And when you start messing with term limits, guys, there is no end to the fuckery that goes on in regards to that. Now, we had a mayor here in New York City, Mike Bloomberg. He wanted to do a 3rd term, and he did. He got it done. He changed the city ruling or laws on it. And then as soon as he got his 3rd term, he went back to the books and changed the laws back to only 2 terms. Scumbaggery. Now, Giuliani wanted to run a 3rd term in New York City, and that was during 9/11. And that might have been the only mayor that should have been able to get a special dispensation to do so. But instead, Bloomberg said, no, that's a bad idea. And then Bloomberg turns around and runs for a 3rd term. So again, that's the scumbaggery you will start seeing. You will start seeing presidents do this. And if you can let them haphazardly just rectify or change things around because they can, that means, guys, we can have a dictator who thinks, you know what, let's do away with term limits and let's stay here for the duration of our life. However that might be, however long that might be. That is a bad idea. That is how dictatorships start. And rather they started because people of power don't want to give it up. But we would be going backwards if we got rid of term limits. Even if we made a special exception for a president, it would still be bad. I mean, President Bush, if I'm not mistaken, during 9/11, if he wanted to run a 3rd term, that might have been a special situation for him to do so. Now, yes, there are certain laws there are certain situations that can happen where a president could stay in term or stay president longer, but that wouldn't be a new term. That would be him extending his current 2nd or 1st term, depends on what situation it is. Now, martial law happens to be one of them, and a lot of people seem to think that, well, they can implement martial law and stay indefinitely. Not really. There's still a window of how long martial law can be in place and how long they can stay after that. Now, a lot of people are signing this petition into having him stay for a 3rd term, and people just don't understand the ramifications of messing around with term limits. Yes, President Trump could be doing a good job. You might be up his ass so much, you're blinded by his bullshit, and you're like, oh my God, he's a magical fucking president. Let's keep him in for a 3rd term. No. What he should be doing is having somebody younger than him step into his shoes. That's how it should work. It shouldn't work by way of he's doing a good job. Let's just leave him where he is and see where this goes. Absolutely not. Because once you start that downhill nonsense, It can only get worse, again, when you get a dictator in there and he goes, you know what? I'm going to stay. And that's bad. And we don't need that. And we don't need people messing around with term limits. Leave it as is. Like I said, we already had it done in New York, and the scumbag changed it and then changed it back. We don't need presidents to have the carte blanche of changing it at will and then changing it back. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the Angry Truth channel.